What's up guys, this is Tabletop Vibes, and today we're taking a look at Zoo Tycoon by Triceratops. So one, I actually used to play this game as a kid on the PC all the time. Like, all the time. Like, this is probably one of my first PC games that I'd play, where you're building your zoo from the ground up. Sometimes I open the lion cages and let them out. Not gonna lie to you, which is my favorite thing.
You can't do that in this game.
You cannot.
No. But I never played Zoo Tycoon, but I had a lot of fun playing this game. There definitely was a lot to learn, but once we figured out how each of the turns went, it all clicked together, and this has so much replay value. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
It's crazy.
It's probably tens of thousands of iterations of replay value.
Right.
You can never play the same game twice.
Yeah.
So much fun, so in-depth, had a blast with it.
And you literally feel like you're building a zoo and running and maintaining your zoo with the animals that are in it.
Right, and all the problems that come with it.
And all the problems. We'll get into those problems. In a good way.
Yes.
But the crazy cool fun thing is there's a second edition.
Right. So they just are coming out with an expansion edition.
Yep.
Coming up on Kickstarter, and they were kind enough to send us a copy, and we took a look at it, and it added so much additional
crazy
stuff.
Awesome. Like, if you didn't think that the base game was enough to whet your appetite of building your dream zoo, you now have all the rest of the components that you need, mainly water animals.
Yes, a lot of it's water-based. So let's kind of give them the overview for those who are familiar and not familiar with the game. So in this game, like Adam says, you are going to be building a zoo, you're going to be penning in animals, you're going to be managing the whole infrastructure. And how you do this is you start off with your board. You have your personal board, you have a tracking system, which mainly tracks conservation, popularity, and education. And the conservation is really kind of a score mechanic. The popularity actually, as you move it up, gets you more money. And is also
buzz.
Yes,
brings around buzz into your zoo, because when you put out new animals, people are excited. Or if your animals give birth, or if you give them away,
And you also have an education tracker, and mainly what this is going to give you additional bonus to the other two trackers. So these are the three main things you're going to try to manipulate in the game.
How you do win, we'll just throw this out there. This is my favorite aspect, is to tell you how you win the game before we teach you how to play the game. We're not really teaching you, but we're going to give you an overview. But you win when, at the end of 7 rounds, and you score all your things up, and the lesser of your conservation and your money, whichever is the lower, is your end game.
Conversation and the popularity.
Which equates to your money in a sense. That's how you win.
So, how you actually do this. So you start the game with your board, and you're actually going to start in the summer phase, and we'll go over that kind of first. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some of the enclosure tiles. They're going to be, in the base game, there'll be 3 different types. It's going to be savanna, jungle, and forest. In the expansion, they added
tundra,
water, and dry forest. None of the forest had dry forest. So a lot more iteration with that. And you are going to start your turn by choosing some animals that are out there for the taking. And it is really cool how they did this. And I know you like the expansion, how they did this.
Oh my gosh, we'll get into that portion. But in the base game, you have your set tiers of animals, right? So like, if you ever played the PC game, you couldn't just go buy the highest, coolest animal. You had to work up. Pretty much you need to show that you can run your zoo at minimal capacity to have better animals in the long run. So in the first aspect of the game, you are drafting what animals you're going to do. You're going to put out your cube, and then that locks it for you for this round. That's the animal you're going to take. That would go to Jason. He gets to pick, and we all get to pick, and then it goes back the opposite way, and then we go into the next phase.
So you get 2 trades. You can actually buy or sell depending on what, or you could buy or sell depending on what the little window shows for the trading on that animal.
Which is when Jason talks about infinite replayability. One aspect is underneath the animal board, they have little slots, and there's a modular board underneath it that can slide and changes
Yes.
what kind of animals that you're going to get. 1 male, 2 females. If it's red,
You sell.
it's the ones that are needed, that need to be sold or going out, and it changes every round.
Right. So it's 7 different turns, changes 7 times. There is 27 total positions, and it's double-sided. And then the expansion added even more. So
Yes.
try to figure out those permutations. I'm good with math. I couldn't do it, but it is.
And I'm not good at
amazing.
math, nor do I care. I just know that I can play this game forever.
So you're going to initially get animals because you can't sell them because you don't have any. And then you're going to go into the autumn phase. And this is kind of where the crux of the game really activates. So you are going to get some additional enclosures, and these are the little tiles that you put on your board, and you need that in order to house all your animals.
Right. And that's usually based off of, depending on your benefactor of the for the round. There's also events that come up that can be good or bad. They added new ones and in the expansion.
Yes.
So 6 new event cards, and I believe 3 new benefactors.
Right.
But that helps determine how much more tiles you get.
Exactly. You can also get some loans. So if you're a little short on cash, you can get some loans, but you can't get too greedy. You can't go over 10 money. They don't want to give loans to just anybody.
And there is penalties for taking loans at the end of the game.
There is. And then the building phase. And this is kind of really big.
Yes.
You're building it up. That's kind of the point of the game.
Because it's a zoo.
So what you're going to be doing is putting out your enclosure tiles of the terrain type that you've chosen. And this is a free play. And then if you, of the animals that you selected, if you satisfy the various requirements on the card, and these are going to be things like how many empty spaces are around the enclosure. It's going to be how many, habitat?
How many animals you can have in that that they want to have, the animal wants to have in that habitat. Time tracker, because like every round or
Experience,
you can experience that your animals in your zoo, as well as
little house.
your shelters.
Yeah, the shelters. That's it. Yeah, because some animals need shelters.
They need shelter.
Yeah. So if you satisfy those requirements, you get to put out your animals. Yay! We have animals.
Yeah, your zoo is functioning.
All right. And when you do this, you're going to get some buzz because everybody's excited that, you have animals. This is great.
We got to go to that zoo.
Exactly. That's going to help you on your income come winter time.
Jason's raccoons.
Yeah. Adam had lions. He got better buzz.
I did.
Yeah. And then you can choose to buy a whole host of things. So you have various, what they call focal points. And these are various, like, help your popularity, help your conservatism, your retreats, that's your shelters, your retreats, and your education. You can do each enclosure can have one of those types. You can buy various buildings that help you create money. You can have other tiles that allow you to basically get benefits for habitats next to them. So a whole host of ways of chain to kind of get additional points, additional money, additional conservation.
And then depending on where you put some of those buildings, they give you more things based off the buildings that surround it.
Yep.
So it's really, really rich on how you can build up.
Right. And then in the expansion, after that, they add the Vivarium phase. Yes. So this is kind of your little separate enclosure. Yeah, Vivarium. Your little separate enclosure where you're housing all of your little animals. You know, they can't be with the lions and the zebras. You know, they got to be,
It's kind of like your reptile house meets petting zoo meets enclosure that everybody can...
Small aquarium.
Small aquarium.
Yeah. So you're going to be drafting, just like you did in the animal phase, for some of these little animals. Right. And you're going to be placing them on the Vivarium tile. It costs some money to do that. But it's a way, again, to get some additional benefits, some additional conservation, additional popularity.
Yes. And generate a little bit of buzz.
Right. Also a place to put your eggs, because eggs came with this one.
Yes.
Reptiles.
Yes. The other crazy part is what you want to look for when buying set animals is they have a cost and upkeep.
Oh, yes.
Because you got to upkeep your zoo. Oh my god. Okay, let me tell you, the lions bring in a lot of buzz, but those suckers,
they can eat,
and then they also poop. You got to clean up. So for every single enclosure that I had or tile, I had to pay $3 at the upkeep phase.
Yep. Now, I actually went the other way, and I went for raccoons and ostriches.
Yeah, I did.
So
elk and lions. That was my starting play.
Mistake.
I don't know. Those lions were pretty cool. But yeah, then you have, which we'll get into later, at a future turn inside the round or season, you will have to pay for that upkeep.
That's right. And that time is now because that's winter. Yes,
There it is.
The future is now.
Also, if you use your workers,
Oh, yeah, the workers.
during the rounds, each worker has a different ability depending on what season you're in, and you can use them, but then they will stay there until the end of the round or at the end of winter.
Right, and they're going to give you some additional actions of what you can normally do, like they do an additional trade, or they allow you to reroll a die, or you're allowed to get, again, a little more conservation, or popular, or education.
You can move up you can advance like your, time, experience on an animal. And then you can also move buildings around, or you spend them to use to move buildings and things like that. But if you use one of them, it is free. If you use two of them, it's cost $3 at the upkeep. And if you use all three, by the time winter hits, that's $6 onto your upkeep, which would have brought me up to $14. Do you know how much money I was making? Not that much money.
Nope. So let's get to the winter phase.
Do it.
So the winter phase is kind of your upkeep phase and where you actually generate your money. So on there, you are going to move up the experience of your animals because, you know, they've been there a while. They got to know the place. They kind of get the feel. So they're a little more comfortable, you know, where they're at. A little happier.
That's the goal.
Then what you're going to do is get some bonus education. This is kind of based on where you are in the tracks. And then taxes hit. And everybody loves taxes. So if you have more than $3, you're going to lose all the excess money because, you know, Uncle Sam wants his cut.
So you're essentially incentivized to buy focal points, use your workers, like you're incentivized to spend as much to that line or under it as possible.
Right. And then you're going to generate your revenue. And what this is going to be is it's going to be your buzz value.
Yes.
So you're going to generate that much revenue according to kind of a little sliding scale. And what's nice about this is that while the buzz resets, as you move up your popularity track, then when you get more buzz, it starts at that level of the popularity track.
It becomes your baseline for the next round.
See, he said it way better than I did.
Sorry, sometimes I have moments. Yeah, but so I had 7 popularity off the start of the round, even though I was hemorrhaging money because of my lions. But Jason gained like $4 or $5.
Yeah, because, you know, little guys.
Yeah.
So that's mostly your winter. And then you're going to move into your spring phase. And with this one, now becomes start player because start player moves.
You also bring back your workers. It's kind of like winter kind of resets everything, and then you go into
And what happens in spring? Babies.
This is the
babies happen.
Crazy fun part about this game.
So what happens is you look at your animal sheets, and if you satisfy certain requirements on them, then you're able to roll some dice to see if they made babies.
And you need to be happy enough.
They need to be happy enough, and you have to have male, female.
Does help.
Yeah. So if you get babies, then you get to draw some cubes, which represent a random male, female, unless it's the reptiles, and that's the eggs.
Yes.
And they actually don't have a sex until you choose. That's you know, actually it's based on temperature, so that actually is legitimate from science.
And you get to roll dice depending on your animal, how many females are there, and so on. And then you roll, and it has a number you need to satisfy to then produce or reproduce. And so I have baby elk.
And I got like 4 ostriches, and I thought, this is great.
He was running an ostrich farm.
And then it clicked. This is where everything came together for us, because what I realized was I have all these babies, but babies are negative points at the end of the game.
They do not count toward your exhibit enclosure level.
So you can turn those babies into animals at any time. However, in order to do that, you need to build out your enclosure, and as you do that, it costs more.
And then your upkeep goes up because the more animals and the more enclosures you have, the more money you're spending.
Now you do need a certain amount to make them the most happy, which helps you at the end, the points at the end. So there is a sweet spot. I kind of realized if I could get a certain type and then sell off all of either the males or the females, then I'd be good.
You can get rid of them.
But this is where some of the balance comes in terms of animal management. Is don't overbreed, or literally they're going to run wild in your habitat.
So, I mean, again, you're going through all of these different seasons for 7 rounds, and then at the end, you're going to add up all your points. And again, like we stated, the lower between population and conservation is your victory points, and whoever wins has the most wins, and if you tie, you share the victory.
Right. There's also some bonus stuff at the end of the round. So for having like 4 of different types of animals, you get some bonus points. For
like
having
individual conservations along the way.
For having happy animals, you kind of get some bonus points for that potentially. And also there's like a world conservation program where you can
for
breeding the level 3 animals.
Yes, they gotta be
really sought after.
You can't be ostriches. Everybody's doing it.
I have ostriches
everywhere.
But you can send them away to part of the conservation program, and when they kind of fill up the lot, then you get some conservation points for them. So it's kind of another way to kind of scoot out some of those excess animals.
Yeah, I mean, again, like this takes me right back to playing this game as a kid. I even like it even more as a board game. Again, it's a pretty good burner. It's not for the faint of heart, but when you go through it and you figure it out, it's not as complicated.
Right. What I would say is, read through the rules. It'll be a little confusing.
Play through the rules.
And then play through it. Play through each season, because once we got through one entire year, it all clicked.
Right. And then we were playing a bunch.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
And the even cooler part about the second edition and the expansion, more animals. The player board for the animals now is inset, because you can take the you can mix and match all the different animals from the base game and this new edition / expansion, and they overlay. So like they'll sit down. I'll show you on the screen. It's going to be awesome. It's one of my favorite parts.
Gosh, I mean, again, somebody that knows math can do it. I'm thinking like hundreds of thousands of combinations. I don't know
crazy
how
awesome.
You can figure all this out.
They give you a breakdown on how to make sure it's like leveled, and if you want to, or maybe you don't. You just want to play with crazy awesome, like high level animals the entire time. It adds, like Jason was saying, new eggs, reptile houses, the vivarium.
So you're going to add you're going to add fish. You're going to add invertebrates.
Yeah.
It
Komodo dragons, bison. I don't think it's a bison.
Water buffalo.
I think. Penguins.
Yeah. Marsupials.
Crocodiles.
Yeah. I mean, we could go on.
Capybara. Is that how you say it? Capybara. Yeah. Little fluffy guy. Koalas. I mean, like it adds a ton of new animals to play as. I think there's 23 new species.
Again, you will never have the same game twice.
And the coolest part too is these are all Meeples. I mean, the deluxe version.
Oh yes,
This is the deluxe version, but all the screen printed Meeples. It's beautiful. And then when you put them into your zoo and you can see them all there, they're making babies. I mean,
it really feels like you're building a zoo.
100%.
It really does.
It is so great. And so we're so excited. You've got to check this out, especially if you're a huge fan of Zoo Tycoon, the PC game back in the day. This is a game definitely for you. Or if you like Euro games, strategy games, and you love animals and zoos, smash it all together. You get Zoo Tycoon New Shores. And we are just super excited. So check it out. The link will be in our bio. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what your favorite animal is. Mine is a tiger.
Penguin all the way.
Yeah, you're a penguin guy.
I'm a penguin guy.
These things smell. When I was just at the zoo, and they stunk.
And they're loud, but they're just adorable.
I just like tigers because they're majestically regal looking. And Shere Khan was awesome. And so check out Zoo Tycoon New Shores. Coming to Kickstarter super soon. We're Tabletop Vibes. Thanks for watching.